Hello everyone, this is Mayank Sangvi from vlamon.com and I am back with another video, and in this video we are going to discuss about Cognos architecture. So this is the content for this video, and if you want to read more about Cognos BI architecture, this is the blog link. I am going to share this link in the description of this video. So let's start. What is Cognos architecture, or how Cognos work, or how Cognos architecture work? This is a very basic diagram on Cognos architecture, and we are going to add lots of stuff in this diagram in the further slides. For explanation, we divided Cognos architecture in three tiers. One is web server, another is application server, and the third one is database server. This first is a graphical user interface which is used by end user. So let's first discuss about graphical user interface or user interface. Graphical user interface or user interface is the presentation or the final layer which is used by end users. End user is maybe a business user or a author, report author, or any other user, or maybe it is a admin, Cognos admin. Cognos provide various interface. Mainly two interface, web-based interface and Windows-based interface, for different purposes. Web-based interface include Cognos connection, which is the main portal or main website from where you can access all the available services or web-based services. So this is the main Cognos connection, and inside Cognos connection or using Cognos connection, you can use Cognos administration for admin purpose or admin related task, just for creating new connection, for import and export contents of the Cognos connection. You can use report studio or various types of studio for creating Cognos reports. Even you can use event studio for scheduling or delivering the method, or define the method how to deliver the Cognos reports. Windows based interface includes framework manager for creating your FM model used by your reports. Transformer, you can use transformer to create cubes. You can use map manager, or you can use IBM Cognos BI Microsoft Office add-in to create reports in Excel. Next we are going to discuss about web server. So what is the role of web server in Cognos architecture, or what is the work of web server in Cognos architecture? When your end user access any user interface or Cognos user interface, all the user related information or action or user requirement, all this is sent to application tier using web server, and all this task is done by a gateway. So the main action item of a gateway is to collect all the user information, user related information, add additional environment variables, add namespace for user authentications, and collect all this information and finally pass it to application server for further processing via gateway. Cognos allow different types of gateway. First one is CGI. CGI is applicable or worked with all the available servers. Next is ISAPI gateway. It is generally used with IIS. It is very fast with IIS. Next is Apache Mode. If you are using Apache servers, then you can use Apache Mode gateway. If your server allows servlets, then you can use servlet gateway. Now we are going to discuss about application layer or application server. So what is the roles and responsibilities of application tier or application server? In application server or application layer, all the IBM Cognos related services are installed, and the roles and responsibility of application layer is receive a request or receive a user request from gateway and send the user request to appropriate services for its execution. Once the execution is completed, send the result back to end user via gateway. Now, for example, a user opened a Cognos connection and he provided his login or user credential or user related information, then gateway is going to receive all this information, encrypt it, and pass it to application server for validation. Once application server received all this information, then it passed it to content manager for a validation via dispatcher. Once user is validated, dispatcher sent request to presenters and services for rendering the home page of Cognos connection. Once all the information is received from presentation layer or presentation services, then all this information sent back to end user via gateway. So all this thing or all this stuff is handled by an application server. In this, we let me enable my laser pointer. In this, we discuss about two things. One is content manager and what is dispatcher. So what is this and what is the roles and responsibility of this? We are going to discuss this in detail in further slides. So in brief, this is the roles and responsibility of application layer. Its application layer is responsible for running all the services forward via gateway. It is also responsible for rendering the content of Cognos connection. So in brief, this is the roles and responsibility of a Cognos application tier. Now it's time to understand what is dispatcher. Okay, dispatcher is a service or a program which is responsible for running all the services of Cognos. It is also used or it is also responsible for communicate between all the different services, routes the request to appropriate service. So for example, my one user want to run a report, then dispatcher is responsible to forward this request to a report services. And if a user want to run a cube, then cube related request sent to cube services. Used to load balancing. How? Okay, let's say my application server is divided, or my application server is physically divided into different server. Server 1 having report related services installed, and server 2 cube related services are installed. So here we learn about dispatcher is responsible for routes this request to a process services. So once a user send a request to run a report, then dispatcher is responsible to send this request to server 1, and if any user want to run a cube, then dispatcher is responsible to send all the cube related requests on server 2. So this is the way dispatcher is used to balance the load between multiple servers. Now how dispatcher works? Once dispatcher is start its services, then it first registered all its information in content manager, and for various servers or different servers we have different sets of dispatcher. All this information is available in content manager. So if dispatcher 1 want to communicate with dispatcher 2 on server 2, then all the dispatcher 2 related information is available in server 2. So dispatcher 1 access the content manager, access all the dispatcher 2 related information, and communicate between other dispatcher. For all the list of services, visit my blog. I am going to share the link in the description of this video. Next is content manager. What is content manager? Content manager is responsible for storing all the Cognos connection or all the Cognos BI related data to store in a database. So all the information such as user related information, authentication and other, configuration related data, language related information, different models, FM models, different package or different cubes, reports outputs, all this information is stored in a database using content manager, and the database is uh, normally called as a content store. Now, one thing you have to remember, you can install content manager in more than one server, but at a time only one is active and all other content manager is in standby mode. And this type of scenario is generally used for disaster recovery. So for example, my server or content manager is installed on two servers, server 1 and server 2. So, and server 1 is active and server 2 is on in standby mode. So anything happened to server 1, then our Cognos related service is not going to stop, because my content manager is also installed on server 2. So we are going to use server 2 to access all the Cognos related data. Now the final tier, database server or database tier. What is the roles and responsibility of a database server? Database server is just responsible for storing data in a database or a flat files. So database server contain your content store or other database or other your business related database or your data warehouse. So all this is available in your database tier or database server. Now your content store is a database or IBM Cognos content database is based on your SQL Server installation. For more about SQL Server installation, you have to refer my other video. So that's it for Cognos architecture. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any doubts, then leave a comment. I will try to resolve all your doubts as soon as possible. So thank you for watching and see you guys in my other video.